Welcome back. Joining me this morning for a very lively media panel that we have today is Karen Mathis. She's the managing editor of the Daily Record. We have John Burr, editor of the Jacksonville Business Journal. And we also have Mr. Fred Matthews, blogger for Examiner.com. Thanks to all of you for being here. Okay, so you just saw the interview that we had with the immigration expert. Immigration reform, do you think a deal will get done? And more importantly, I want to know, do any of you care?
Wow.
Well, it's an important political issue right now. It's not as important to us individually or as groups or in the cities and towns, but it is an important political issue that has to be dealt with, primarily because the Republican Party needs it to be dealt with. So it's important to that extent. It's not the primary thing that most people are looking at. The economy is still front and center.
But when it comes to the immigration reform, I think the two voices that are really going to be loud and listened to are Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio, because both have weighed in on this issue and both are considered leading contenders for 2016.
Oh, that's true. I think it's important because it looks like it's coming together, and nothing much has come together in Congress in the last 4 years. So maybe they can start doing some stuff and get used to working with each other, and maybe we'll kind of break the logjam that's been up there.
Everybody needs to make sure that they have a vote yes on immigration reform on their resume as they go into 2014 and certainly 2016. So they need to have that, and that's really what this argument is about right now. It's going to happen. It's going to happen probably, obviously, much faster than anything on gun control is going to happen, but that's the big argument.
Yeah, and I think Fred's right. I mean, what's different now is the Republicans got trashed in the election. They lost the Hispanic vote, and they're all saying, oh my goodness, we can't go through another election unless we are competitive with these folks. So they have all just switched their feeling about immigration. The Democrats haven't changed anything. They're still backing what they've always backed on.
Well, the Republicans are walking that line. What do we support? What don't we support? What do our supporters want us to support and not? It's going to be fun to watch.
It sure will be, and we'll be following it closely. The mayor is proposing some new money for downtown Jacksonville. Fred, let's start with you. Your thoughts?
Well, it could be one of the signature things he does. This is, again, he's a follow-up from his campaign, which he said he would support downtown and has. The issue is going to be whether this $11 million, $2 million going one place and $9 million going through this new version of the Downtown Development Authority, whether or not it's going to work. From this vantage point, what we need is a super broker for downtown. Because it's not just about we want to develop downtown, we want people to come back to it. We need to give them a reason to come back. And we have two big problems sitting around town, actually three. We have the beaches, we have the St. John's Town Center, and we have River City Marketplace on the north side. Those are reasons for people not to have to come downtown after 5 o'clock.
I think the funding for downtown, for the DIA, the Downtown Investment Authority, it's going to be interesting where that money is going to go, because it's $9 million, which sounds like a lot. But when you look at the incentives that have been issued for different projects, it's really not that much. So do you put it all or most of it in one big project? Do you spread it out to small projects? What are those projects going to be? There are going to be a lot of people coming to the table saying, you know, I've got a great project. I really want some of that money.
Right. It's going to depend upon who the city can partner with, what private company or private interest the city can partner with. Because you're right, Fred, $9 million isn't going to do a lot in and of itself, but $9 million plus a $50 million investment from somebody else, then you're starting to talk about something that can get something done.
And we were saying there are some private investment groups and some private developers who've shown interest, and there are others who are forming. I mean, Peter Rummel talked the other day about a private group that wants to raise some funds to help develop downtown.
But one of the things we're going to have to do with that is that a lot of things are going to have to be relaxed for downtown. The developers have advantages at the outlying shopping centers and malls, is that they are able to develop and do what they need to do. They have a set of zoning laws, rules they go by, but they're able to develop that the way they want. You can't do that downtown under the current rule and structure, and that will have to be relaxed dramatically in order for Jacksonville to go where it wants to go with this idea.
All right, let's talk a little bit of football right now. Jags owner Shad Khan just announced this week that the game in London, it's sold out. Surprised or not surprised?
Well, I guess I am surprised that it's sold out. I didn't know people in England were all that jazzed about American football. This Wembley Stadium holds, I don't know, 80, 90,000 people. It's a big place.
He also says that the number of local season ticket holders going is big. They haven't released the numbers yet, but there's a lot of people going.
Yeah,
Karen,
I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised.
No, they've had a number of teams going over there every year to play in England, and now football is football, because their football wasn't our football. Now football is football, and you can't distinguish the two. So it's always done well. And that's okay. From a business standpoint, it's a good deal for the Jaguars. But our concern has to always be what's in it for Jacksonville. And if you're saying this is going to draw business to Jacksonville, I want to see that. Unfortunately, that drawing business to Jacksonville is maybe 2-3 years down the road. But it's a good business deal for Jaguars. It makes the Jaguars money. They don't have to pay the city of Jacksonville anything on their lease fee. I mean, and for those ticket holders who can afford to go to London for the week, hey. But for us here in Jacksonville, what's in it for me? I just don't see a whole lot for us.
All right, and quickly, because we don't have a lot of time left, but something that had all of you fired up before the camera started rolling was Tim Tebow. What are you all talking about?
Well, let's start.
Well, I mean, I think the consensus here in town is that Tebow got a raw deal. Has gotten a bad deal from the NFL, whether you like his abilities or not. I think with the coach closing the door on Tebow ever coming here, he basically closes the door on a lot of local sentiments for that. So whatever he has in his box, it better work.
Well, and from what you're hearing is one of the reasons that the door has closed on Tim Tebow is what if you have Tim Tebow here? What if he's on the bench? There's a quarterback playing, the quarterback makes a mistake, and the crowd erupts, Tebow, Tebow. It's disruptive.
All right, John, quickly, you've got 5 seconds.
Yeah, bring Tebow and let him and Gabbert fight it out, and I'll bet you Tebow wins.
All right, thank you all for joining us, and when we come back, A Moment with Mike.